Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said today that many Democrats wouldn't support her in her primary bid against Representative Joseph Crowley out of fear they'd upset the party apparatus and lose their jobs. I can't tell you how many times I would talk to people. People were afraid to even take pictures with me in public because of what that could mean. Ocasio-Cortez, who scored a major upset over Crowley in the New York primary this week, said on ABC's The View. And she is absolutely correct. There was an old quote. I forget who it was by, but they were talking about all the gangs in the United States and how the Democrats and Republicans are just like any other gang you might see on the street, except they don't, necessarily go out and attack members physically of their own group. But this whole thing of the top officials saying, "Hey, if you like this person, or if you even concede the idea that that person has anything good about them, it's time to be reprimanded," has been going on for maybe 20 years. This last primary was a really good example. You had Bernie and having most of the establishment against him, and then the few that were able to, I guess, sort of get out of that, such as Tulsi Gabbard had to resign her position to endorse him, to not face reprimand. How dare you for having your own opinion? But this group really has subscribed, along with the Republicans, to monolithic thought, where if you have some perspective that differs from the rest of those among you, it couldn't even be just calling out the oligarchy, so saying everyone, most of them are corrupt, which is true. It could just be, oh, well, I think this person, is right about this one particular part of their message, which is a pretty moderate thing to say. We're not all these horrible, evil individuals. I've been able to sit here as someone who wasn't a fan of Obama, for say, and tell you that the Paris Agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, those were good things that came out of his tenure. And I'm able to do that because I'm not so disillusioned with an individual or with a certain ideology as to not say there are good things about it. And for whatever reason, they want that kind of thinking, that ability to sort of look at a scenario and say, this was good, this is bad, here's how I feel overall, to just be gone. They want it to be to where if someone comes around and they're not popular among that group at the top, because she was popular enough to win this election, which means that voters were more than okay with her. But if that group at the top, that is the party establishment, does not favor you, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to be completely casted off. And that's ridiculous. So she's very accurate on this. I hope that she wins the general election. I'm very glad Crowley is out of there. I had been meaning to talk about the election, that primary in New York a couple of days ago, but I was distracted with a few other things that were coming up and various news stories that appeared concurrently. But I really appreciate the people in that district for doing this, because, as I've said before, we can have our differences on certain topics, but if we can get around a unified idea of condemning politicians and other individuals and organizations in the public sphere that are purchased to have views that align with the people who are buying them out, there can be a serious change in the U.S. And I just wish that more people would pay attention to this. I know this video is going to get maybe 20 or 30 views overall, but it's something that is afflicting millions of people over here and millions abroad. So I'm very happy with New York. Thank you and have a good day.